Is that what you mean? No. Oh, you did. Oh, my bad. Hey, everybody.
Hi, we are
Welcome
live.
to the
Yeah,
round
the intros now take a little seconds to start. I don't know why.
Okay,
So at
well,
this
kick it
point,
in. It's a long one, and people are already here. So
I already pressed it.
You stand in towers wrought of steel and glass, proclaiming we were blind. You say we feared the ocean's edge, there were no lands to find. You call us children of the mud, with neither chart nor flame. But bones of ships beneath your seas still whisper out our name. Before your clocks began to tick, we measured stars in stone. We carved the sky in granite arcs, the heavens called their own. Our temples face the solstice fire, our homes kiss the sea. The tides were pages, winds were words, the earth our memory. You think we had no written tongue, no script of subtle art. Yet rivers bend where runes were laid in landscape and in heart. We read the flight of silver birds, the spiral of the shell, and every mountain ridge became a sacred sentinel. You boast of engines, wires, and codes that flicker in the night, yet tremble when the sun goes dark and screens deny you light. Your wisdom leans on fragile walls of numbers stacked like sand, a castle built on borrowed time, on mapped and shifting land. We crossed the waters when the moon pulled silver through the foam. Our cedar ribs and woven sails carried us far from home. The currents were our hidden roads, the stars our compass bright. We spoke with whales in thundered depths and steered by ancient light. You say the past was primitive, a slow and crawling age. Yet you cannot hear the forest's pulse nor read the planet's page. Your towers rise in arrogance, defying root and rain, while deserts bloom where once you swore eternal growth and gain. We shaped the stone with patient hands that listened as they struck, for rock is bone of Mother Earth and yields to those with luck. Not luck of chance, but reverence earned in silence long and deep, where secrets older than the seas awaken from their sleep. You severed sky from soil and named the fracture progress bold, and traded living myths of fire for circuits, glass, and gold. Yet when your satellites grow blind and metal falters fast, You'll seek the songs you cast away. You'll seek the wisdom of the past. We were not shadows in the mist, nor myths your books dismiss. Our footprints rest on every shore your maps have dared to kiss. The oceans were no barriers, but mirrors white and blue, reflecting back the voyager in me and you. So hear me, child of hurried breath, before your towers fall. The earth remembers everything. She is the oldest, hear her call. When sand consumes your fragile throne and silence fills the air, return to stone, return to star, and find that we are there.
Greetings, everybody. Hello,
Greetings.
Vince. Hello, Jason. I can't hear you, Jason.
Should be able to now.
Yes, now I can.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was on mute because you had me mute, and Good evening, everybody. How are you? Welcome to another episode of the Roundtable Chronicles. What are we at, guys? Is this 26, episode 26?
26.
We have so many properties or brands, I believe would be the word in the business. Vincent, welcome to the show. We have so many brands now, it's hard to keep up with what episodes we're on with all of our all of our Institute for Natural Philosophy properties, or what, precisely. Are we keeping people in line, or are we talking about our stuff today? I'm not sure. We're wearing so many different hats around the office here lately. But we're happy that you all are here. Let's look at the chat. Who do we have?
And speaking of channels, Vince has a new channel.
Vince, new YouTube channel to promote, eh?
Yeah.
Well, get to promoting. I'm wearing a very hot hoodie that I may have to get rid of because I saw your shirt and I wanted the closest thing to match. So, we're radiating your way. Let's start telling everybody about this. There's the link. Vincent has dropped a link for his new YouTube channel. Let's please go support Vincent. You guys have seen him here, and he's going to show us tonight, I believe, a bit of what we will have in store when we go find his YouTube channel. But I'll let him tell us about that. And then throw it to Ricardo for a second to say hello before we actually dive into your presentation. Does that make sense?
I just want to say that Rick Osmond is obviously not here.
Right.
And that is because he's on the road. He's doing actual research and filming, and
he was
for Lost America, I presume.
With the same couple that you were telling our audience about last night, right? So he 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he wasn't with them
on the solstice. Yes, he was.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, on the solstice. Yes.
Good evening. That's Thoth. Toth, however you prefer it. It's your name, but Thoth the Atlantean. That's a pretty good snag. I can't believe somebody else hadn't snagged that name.
Yeah, we have Ludenberg, we have Moss Van Jam. Who's this shaman 711? We have Scribe.
You can't pronounce it either, can you? That's Thoth the Atlantean on X.
Yeah.
I'll send
Amy.
you a link to the stuff if you hadn't seen it yet.
So
Amy
evening,
Wicked
everybody.
Current. Yes, Amy WC. Thank you for joining us, Amy. Many from our Discord community, which if you guys aren't familiar with yet, come check out. There are links, I think on the Universe Unveiled page is probably the quickest place to go find it. Or find me, Shaman711, on Discord, and I'll set you up with an invite, and you can come hang out with all of us. We're all there. Vincent's got his own section. Ricardo hardly ever shows up, but when he does, he's there to promote his own work, and he... Zing! Only because if
I'm
you watch
sorry,
our
that-
show, you know Ricardo never promotes his own work. And the inside joke before he gets offended. No, he did good. He was about to jab back, wasn't he? I should have let him. No, Ricardo never promotes his own stuff, and hence
because
the
of what
joke.
it was, not because it was mine.
Oh, we all know we were there, but I should have to clarify for the audience now that it's work that Ricardo was doing of other people, and he was promoting for these people that have been preserving history, and they're fighting the good fight on their own, right? Ricardo, y'all, didn't even put his name on the movie, Vincent. Like, he didn't. Okay, like, he's gonna get mad if I sit here and tell you how much work he was doing on it.
None of us.
But
did.
nobody put their, you know what I'm saying? So this is all jokes. It's why I can make them, and Ricardo knows this. But like, they don't even have their name on the movie. Like, they don't even want credit. You know what I mean? And at the end, they asked for some donations, Vincent, for the people that the film is about, right? The ones that are actually out there preserving history, right? It's like to their, Venmo.
Straight
like,
to them. Yeah.
None of these guys have anything to do with any of that, right?
I don't know if Vince knows them or not.
Anyhow, back to my Discord, because you got all flustered because I made a jab at you because you wanted to promote the pigeons and their wonderful, wonderful real-world work that needs to be supported. Yeah. Because I was talking to our Discord folks that know what you said when you posted that. You said, I apologize. You wrote one of your beautiful letters, and you said, I apologize for my absence in this space. So, to wrap up that joke that just busted live on the air in front of everybody, I was trying to say, come on over to our Discord. We're all there. We have fun, and we try to be ourselves, and we're see what kind of little community we can kick off of independent researchers and just general decent folks out here trying to survive this world.
If anybody on Discord wants to talk to me or anything, it's just a DM, and
he's completely accessible. They're all jokes. See, Vincent, I can't because he's so humble. I take every chance I get to try to needle him a little bit. It just doesn't work, Vincent. It's like trying to convince you that the Smithsonian has your best interests at heart. It's never gonna happen.
Well, Ricardo,
YouTube, bro.
I wanted to say I'm a big fan of Ricardo's video as well, and it's amazing and really well presented and thought out. And it's heroic that you put that together and just it's impressive work there. That I hope that we can share and watch that and learn more from you and talk about that video.
It really was. Sure. Thank you.
I usually don't talk about any of the work that I do, especially in this category, because it's work that I do for Lost America. So, and so even footage that I take or photographs that I took in the voyages, I don't share any of it because I don't consider it to be mine. So.
He's humble, Vincent.
It's for the project,
sort of to almost a detrimental degree. If he didn't have me here to constantly trying to trick him into telling how good it was, like you just did so well, thank you, then nobody would ever know, and that's not right because storytellers. When we're playing the role of storytellers, we are playing a very, very important and sacred role. It doesn't need to have a bunch of credit. You don't need your name on it. You don't even need to get paid for it, as it turns out, Vincent. But, what you should own is a little bit of the value of what you did and what you spent your time achieving. Be it for other people or not, you still did it, and it's much appreciated. And now all of these people know about them because of the effort and you and the others behind the scene, right? That's all, man. You should own that a little bit within yourself. He does this in private, y'all. This is not a show. Yeah. This is not a show. That's why I brought it into the public to see if we can do something about it.
What I can say is, seriously, look at the work that Vince has done, and compared to what I've done, it's nothing. Because Vince has been everywhere, done everything, and he keeps coming every single week and amazes with his work, and he gets new tools and he explores them to the limit. So I'm excited that now that he has a YouTube channel to see what he's going to bring us through it.
Well, that's an honor coming from an idol and an amazing person. So I mean, I appreciate you all, and
Are we in the same
glad to
channel?
So
We
anyway,
never,
thank you.
y'all will understand now why you always hear me talking shit to my friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is what it's like when you try to talk nice to them. Okay. It's just like,
It's like,
bing,
oh, God.
bing. You're better. You're better. You're like, all right, fuck off, you asshole. And then it's like you can actually have a
Yeah.
conversation with each other.
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's the truth, because if you the film, I was the cutting room. That's what I did. I got all the footage that all the people had the work to do and collect and pay for and so on and so
Yes.
forth. And I was seated in a chair. Well, I was there and I did a little bit of footage, but compared to the rest, it's nothing. So
Y'all, I was getting messages the whole time with this fancy new camera that he was using, and he's got this beautiful footage, and it's the movie. It's a tiny fraction.
it is
Goodness.
a tiny fraction.
Yeah, okay. Well, let him lie is what I'm hearing in my conscience, my producer in my ears saying, just let him
It's
lie.
The truth. The only thing I filmed is the beginning of the film, the
know.
going down the road. In fact,
I
it
know.
wasn't me. It was Diane with the camera in the hand and me driving. I was just saying, film that. Right?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's me going from the marquetry.
We
crossing
don't
the
credit
field.
chauffeurs. You're right.
It's
You
just
win.
me going from the marquetry to the dancing circle, and then the footage from James P. Shears, because I was there with Diane and him, and I filmed him for an hour. That will appear, I hope, in an episode of Lost
That's
America.
right. That's right.
So
that was
that is
separate.
just a little tiny itsy bitty part of what I filmed from him. So
Okay.
the rest
Okay.
is all Chris Finneyfrock and his amazing work that is being done for so long. Go and see Lost America, and you see how
Yes.
many people you've given voice, people that otherwise
Yes.
wouldn't have their voice
Yes.
exposed. So I'm
Chris
just
is
a tiny
the shit,
ipsy.
and Lost
tiny
America is
fleet.
the shit. And Ricardo is the tiny fleet. I'm gonna let it go, but I think when you call yourself a flea, you're kind of insulting me and Vincent, and you only get one pass with that, okay? Because Vincent does not deserve to be called a flea, and you're our president, so you got to
I
kind
didn't
of
say that Vince was a flea.
don't go all Lee Claire on us and just fucking start calling absolute strangers you know nothing about absolutely abhorrent, okay? Don't do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But you could start puffing, wearing the mantle just a touch for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vince, save me.
Okay. Well, so yeah, if I wanted to share my YouTube channel, and I just created this today, so I'm uploading videos, and I have a new video about the Rockford Tablet, and so I'd like to share that to begin with. This is just uploaded, and so I'll try to share my screen here. Okay. Rockford Tablet. So this is, it has subtitles, but it's not narrated. So I'll narrate as we go through this. So the Rockford Tablet. This is a tablet that was found in 1874 in Rockford, Illinois. These mounds were indigenous landscapes, places of memory, burial, and ceremony built by the native people long before the city of Rockford grew along the river. This is 6 miles from Rockford on a high ground above the Rock River, and there was a mound about 30 feet across and 8 feet high where they found these objects. It was reported in the Chicago Tribune. The men cut a trench through its center, working under intense heat, scraping away hard, dry earth. For hours they found almost nothing. Then, nearly 6 feet down, the fragile red seam appeared, a trace of ancient pottery, so decayed it crumbled at the touch. They dug a little deeper, then a spade struck something hard. Out of the yellow earth came a small white object, polished smooth, a carved white tablet with symbols. This is the actual tablet from the Smithsonian. At the top, a face ringed by radiating lines, like light from the sun. Below it, a vertical bar crossed by another. Along one side, a coiled serpent, a triangle, a second serpent, a lizard, and what looked like a burning taper. On the other, letter-like shapes, a dagger mark, a fish head, a circle with a central dot, crossing bars, and a well-formed fish. The Tribune counted 14 distinct figures in all. The first report called it gypsum, and the next Niagara spar, only a few inches long, small enough to close a hand around. Beneath it lay stone tools and spear points, a hammer and chisel, a pipe bowl fragment, fire mark stones, and decayed remains. The tablet was carried to the office of the Rockford Journal, where neighbors and the curious came to see it. Reporters likened its signs to ancient script, to zodiac symbols, even to the great calendar stone of Mexico, the speculation of the 19th century. What survived as a cast model of the Rockford Tablet, number 71903, is accessioned under 1882 by Cyrus Thomas at the Smithsonian. Along its edge, an old hand-inked number, the quiet trace of life lived in the archive. Cataloged in the same sequence is a second square tablet bearing a radiant disc above a long staff. Was it a true ancient object? Was it misread through 19th century ancient enthusiasm? Was it part of a wider era of inscribed tablet controversies? Those questions remain. Every mound is a sacred archive, and every discovery must be handled with humility. So that's the Rockford Tablet from Illinois, near Chicago. This is along the Mississippi River in Rockford, Illinois. So it's just west of Chicago. And I found this tablet. I photographed it at the Smithsonian Institute, and it was among the collections there, along with some other amazing artifacts.
So that I understand. Is the shaft and the sun the same tablet we are seeing then in so the one that was being held, is that the same thing?
There's actually I think there's 3 different tablets that were found. 2 of them have the engraved writing. The third one was the one with the sun and on the central shaft. It's like a T-bar. That's
so different tablets.
Yeah, these are different tablets, all from Rockford. And they were found in the mounds along the river.
Where geographically is Rockford, Vincent?
So it's along the Mississippi River in western Illinois. It's west of Chicago.
You have a question, Vince.
Yes. Oh, here, okay. Closer to Milwaukee.
What's up, Sarah?
Did you saw the question?
I'm trying to see.
Okay, I'm going to put it back again.
Is the research based indigenous records or non-indigenous records?
Well, this is an article from the Chicago Tribune, a Rockford Journal, and so I mean the thought is it's indigenous. It was in the mound, excavated from the mound, and it's writing, and it's written letters engraved on these tablets. So. But the interesting thing is, one article said there was engraved date on one of these, so it was 1711. So another tablet associated with the Rockford area said around 1711 was engraved in the stone. Whether these are from that time period or before, it's a mystery. It's unknown. But the fact that the Rockford Tablet has the sun symbol and all these engraved images, and these were found made of what is called Niagara spar or gypsum, and engraved stones that indicate that there's a written language, and these are symbols with meaning.
So this is my really my introduction into this tablet, Vincent. So. What I guess my first question is, what else you listed some other things that were found in those? Can we get that were found along with them? Was that under them? You said?
Yeah, under them. There's a chisel. They talked about a chisel, a hammer.
Where Cyrus Thomas's name from?
Yeah, Cyrus Thomas was the guy from the Smithsonian that worked with Emmert, who's cousins of Emmert, and he's the one that.
Why these guys keep reappearing again and again? Are they everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, they were all over the place. Just they wrote this book on Indian mounds all from all over.
Mount Law, hi Mount Law, is asking, the letters are from multiple alphabets or just one? I don't think we know, right? So.
Dude, you've got your own audience, man. You don't have to come in here and take our airtime. What Just fucking.
Oh, Mount Law.
Thank you for showing up, dude.
Yeah, the letters are from multiple alphabets or just one. Well, I mean, yeah, we don't know. Like Ricardo said, like they're all. It looks like they're.
We're kind of going off what it looks like, right? We're just trying to sort of suppose at this point.
Yeah, the thing is,
what is the current? What's the official status on these? And then go ahead, Ricardo. Like, what are these accepted? Or are these argued as forgeries? Where does the official line stand on this particular item? These items.
Well, they were written about and then basically put away in the Smithsonian and then forgotten.
That's where they are. That answer. Okay. Question. I mean, go ahead, Ricardo.
I was going to
know
say
the rest of that story.
Where else do we find this type of script that look like chicken legs on mud?
Well, yeah, I mean the chicken leg, or I guess turkey tracks are often found in on petroglyphs all through the Midwest and Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. The turkey track is commonly seen on petroglyphs. So a lot of those are similar to what you see on the Rockford Tablet.
Let's look at the visuals one more time. And remember, everybody, what we're doing here real quick is we're taking a few minutes to promote Vincent's new YouTube channel. And this is just a taste of some of the material he's going to be putting up there. So make sure you go show Vincent some support, give him some subscribes, some likes, and keep him motivated to keep churning out. And I'm telling you guys, there's going to be copious amounts. It's
there's a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Well,
I want to see a few visuals of the script we're speaking on, Vincent.
You want to go back? Okay,
yeah,
I'll go
if
back
you don't mind, just
Rockford Tablet. See, there's the second video here, the Rockford Tablet. This one.
Okay, they're very runic-like. Yeah. Okay. Well, you said the chicken paw, and that's just I wanted a picture again to link up with.
It's the other
I thought
tablet
runic when you said that. Go ahead.
The second one that you showed is more like that than the first one that you showed now.
So I guess you're talking about what that has like a Y symbol or the
that's all I wanted.
Turkey track. Yeah.
And there's one that has a star that I've seen depicted exactly like that several times in other pieces, but they are not from the Americas.
Yeah,
that star on the bottom.
That looks like multiple layers of stuff going on there. Yeah, with patination and aging and all that. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent. I needed some visuals again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the most interesting artifacts that I saw at the Smithsonian, and I mean, there's a lot to it. They're apparently writing some message here that was meaningful to the person that wrote it, but whether it could be translated today would be the key. I mean, if it could be translated, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, I think we could definitely call it, it's communication. I mean, I guess that means you could call it writing, right? This would seem to be some form of communication going on. Does that mean it was a whole language? I don't know. You know, who does know? I mean, it could have been the way they counted the corn they traded in that particular little village where the shit was found, you know? I mean, but we can definitely start with, it sure looks like communication.
Look at that star on the left, you see?
Yeah.
Again, and here on the bottom. That is star.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of everything, right? There's triangles, there's every amalgamation of 3 to 4 lines.
Mount Law says he likes your delivery events. Scribe says he's going to be watching your YouTube. And we have a new question that is this.
Is Vince from Ancient Spirits Beckon, is the tablet a mystery because the Smithsonian hid it away?
Well, yes, partly. I mean, the fact that the Smithsonian hid it. I mean, it's been stuck in their vaults for over 150 years. This was something that it's signs of ancient writing. So, and it's the mystery is where did it come from? When did it get there? Who created it? What do these symbols mean? I mean, there's a lot of mystery that goes into.
Oh, there's Cyrus Thomas's envelope. That's very cool. I like old envelopes. Go back to the old envelope.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just sorry,
Yeah.
man. I
And
like that.
this
That's cool.
is somewhat reminiscent. I can't say it. Reminiscent.
Well, never mind. Not okay.
Reminiscent.
Reminiscent. Thank
Yeah.
you. Reminiscent of some of the pieces that I saw from. What's the name of the cave, Vince? Because it's
Burroughs Cave. I
Burroughs
mean.
Cave, yeah.
Yeah.
A little. That is cool. 1882.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
funny
Thank
we
you.
say a little because there are thousands of pieces. I've seen a few, I don't know, 100, 150, but there are thousands of them.
So that's an imprint. I like that.
It's kind of an AI imprint of what it looks like. But the thing that really interested me in this at first was the cross-hatching. Well, the symbols and cross-hatching that I've been researching really correlate, and they all
the
tablets.
cross-hatching on the edge of it too. That was very intricate.
Yeah, the intricate cross-hatching. This is the one that compares with the Burroughs Cave. So there's a similar tablet here shown from Burroughs Cave that's similar in the way it's made. So,
It seems to me in general there would have to be a lot of forgers about. It's like what, and they were all found by these same people, and that's just sort of my joking way of saying. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand a lot about this. That's why I'm glad you've been taking so much time to walk us through this, Vincent. These artifacts that point towards not much more than we already ascribed to them, to be honest, right? I mean, when Ricardo and I are reading the DeSoto Chronicles about, look, DeSoto, Vincent, he said he marched through a field of corn that was 3 miles in length, okay? 3 miles. Now, how that's a lot of damn corn, right? That's quite an agricultural production. Why would we be then, knowing that as fact, why would we be shocked to learn that they, like the Incas in Peru that tie all the knots in the string to count their trade goods, and that's the language, right? Why would we be shocked that they were marking and counting these processes or these stores of corn? You see where I'm going, because we're not like we already know these things, but this narrative is what fucking bugs me, Vince. This narrative that was put in place, as you've taught us, by the Washington, and everything trickled down from there, still does, right? That native culture and any signs of an advanced native culture was to be suppressed in all ways, not only physically, but in all the other ways.
Well, take a look at this. This is my next one. I wanted to show this.
And it just I'll keep going, but then it gets muddy because you get in this area where you've got these players now that have found stuff that some of us say is fake, some of us say isn't, but we know the bosses were saying bury it if it's real. It's just so swampy.
Just before that, isn't one of the, so it's 3 tablets, one of them seems very similar to the script you found on the alligator or snake, depending on how you see it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It seems similar to that. The letters.
And just to answer Mound Lore, he says he would like to go to the cave. Well, we all would. The problem is there's only one person that possibly knows what it is at this moment. So, because it was blocked and it was on private land, so it's kind of tricky.
Okay, and you've emailed him, right?
No, I know him personally.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, take a look at this. This is the Mount Pishka research that I've done some more work on this week, and found this map is from 1860. It's actually one of the first maps of North Carolina and Tennessee, and I've annotated here with the mound locations. Garden Creek Mound. It has
We began with the Rockford Tablet. The overall mystery we're investigating is Vincent's new YouTube channel and the work that he is putting up there. And he's walking us through the Rockford Tablet, and the Smithsonian's handiwork.
And so this is now transitioning over to Emmert and the Smithsonian. And we talked about how, well, Cyrus Thomas was the head of the Smithsonian in the Mound Research Division. And John Emmert wrote to Cyrus Thomas in 1883 about Mount Pishka site. So this is about Cyrus Thomas's 1894 article when he declared the Mount Pishka relics to be bogus. So I have new information to share that I've just found out about this week. And so we're talking about site 31 HW1. It's actually 1, 2, 3, and 5. So in the spring of 1883, a man named John Emmert rode through the mountains of western North Carolina carrying federal money and a question. The money came from the United States Treasury by way of the Smithsonian's Bureau of American Ethnology. The question was easy to ask and hard to answer. Were these strange carved stone figures genuinely ancient, or are they being made last week? What follows is not a story with a hero and a villain, it is a paper trail. A record that, by the government's own hand, changed its mind about what these objects were. The pay record. Begin with what can be proven. In the settled treasury accounts of the National Archives, there are vouchers. They are dry, they are decisive. John Emmert was no private collector. He was a salaried federal employee, ethnologic assistant, stationed in Bristol, Tennessee, paid $75 a month. His pay was certified by ethnologist Cyrus Thomas and disbursed by the Bureau's agent, John McChesney. That much is bedrock. On the 24th of April in Asheville, he paid a man named Burnett $28.50 for a lot of carved images, animals, pipes, pots, and birds. On the 21st of May, again in Asheville, the same surname, $22, for 15 soapstone specimens, cash in hand for carved stone. The dispersing office wrote them down in plain language as ethnologic specimens. Hold that phrase, it will matter 11 years from now. The name that won't sit still. Here the record starts to misbehave. In April, the seller signs as J.M. Burnett. In May, same transaction, same hand, same printed form, S.M. Burnett. One initial changed, his first initial. When McChesney's office made it certified true copies, the May seller quietly became J.M. Burnett to match April. The document captioned, "A true copy departs from its original on the single mark that identifies the seller. The field record kept 2 readings. The office copy erased one." The man who could not sign. The answer came from the other side of the affair. By 1886, the rival collector named Man Valentine in Richmond, Virginia, was running his own quiet inquiry into these same carvings. The seller's name was Merritt Burnett, and Burnett said plainly and to more than one person that he neither made the carvings nor ever said he made them. He was not a forger passing off his own work as ancient. He was a man who sold carved stone and disavowed its authorship in the same breath. And comes the turn, we understood that Burnett could not read nor write. And if that is true, then he could not have signed the receipt. If the seller could not write, the signature on a United States voucher is not his hand. The shifting initial becomes a fact about whoever was holding the pen. The man whose name sits on the federal voucher did not make these objects, never claimed to, and, by those who knew him, could not have signed for them. Sent to interfere. Why was Emmert there at all? The Smithsonian own annual report from 1883 says He was employed in investigating the manufacture of imitations of ancient relics, not discovering treasures, investigating fakes. The Valentine's operation was a business. For years, it had paid hunters and local agents and shipped crates of relics north to Richmond, and it guarded that arrangement jealously. Then the competitor arrived, wearing a federal badge, the Smithsonian. A Valentine letter warns had sent an agent to interfere with the work that we have started. Emmert did not merely investigate the trade, he bought into it. He paid the same makers, he set them producing for the Bureau, and the federal money drove the prices up. He wanted one maker's skillful work so good, he said, you would not know the difference. And he could get the man to make all he can. This was when he wrote the letters. A government agent sent to expose a trade in counterfeit antiquities had quietly become the best customer that trade ever had. The turn, the bogus article. Now the record changed its mind in print. So 11 years later, in 1894, Cyrus Thomas published the Bureau's great report on mound explorations. Emmert ascertained that these articles were made from local soapstone by people who gave them the appearance of age, placing them in running water tinctured with iron. As proof of his statement, Emmert had the same makers produce a number of similar articles for the Bureau. He said this in his letters. The figures that follow carry a caption printed exactly thus. Figure 225, bogus article, Haywood County, North Carolina. In 1883, the dispersing office called them ethnologic specimens. In 1894, the Bureau's report calls them bogus articles. The same objects, the record reclassified them and put the word in print. So, part 6, the countercurrent. The record does not speak one voice. Reach back to 1880. Valentine describes a day in Richmond with a Cherokee man he calls Chief Bushyhead of Macon County. Bushyhead tells him that in those western mountains, the people do find such images, and that the medicine men use them to bring rain. One strand of the record says, modern fakes aged in iron water, made to sell. The other, older, says, real ceremonial objects, rain medicine, in the hands of practitioners. The honest conclusion is not pick a side. The carved image corpus is not one thing. Some pieces may be genuine, some may be demonstrably commissioned fakes. Wider ground. The timing stops feeling like a coincidence. So in the same season, spring 1883, the Commissioner of the Indian Affairs issued the rules governing the Court of Indian Offenses. They made it punishable to hold old dances. They made it punishable to practice as a medicine man. The very office named as keeper of the rain images. In those same months, the Bureau had Emmert opening mounds and graves, carrying human remains and burial goods to the National Museum. On one arm, the government moved to forbid living native people from their ceremonies. Another excavated the ancestral dead. The mortuary parallel is too exact to ignore, and the mound at Garden Creek belongs to the Pishka phase, a deep ancestry of the historic Cherokee. The square ground and its renewal ceremony did not end, it traveled. It survives today among the Muskogee, the Creek, and the Yuchi in Oklahoma, carried there over the Trail of Tears, kept alive by the stomp grounds. On the stomp grounds. The complex the government tried to criminalize in 1883 is still danced. The discipline, what in the end is proven. That Emmert was a federal employee paid both to buy and investigate. That is bedrock. That the Bureau's own report in 1894 reclassified the Haywood's carvings from procured specimens of bogus articles. That is in print, in their hand. What is not proven, which specific carvings are genuine, which are fakes, those stay open, and a forensic reading earns its authority by refusing to close them before the evidence does. the government bought a carved stone in the mountains, calling it science, and then a decade later, in its own publication, called it bogus. And so that's some of the amazing things that were found in the letters from the Smithsonian just last week.
I'm glad you put that quote up there, Ricardo, the last one about reading the BOE reports, because you remember how Riverside, the chat is jumpy? So, audience, when we're looking at our chat, it's like this when we try to read the bottom view. And I thought Sarah said that. And I was sitting here going, that's cool as shit. When the hell does Sarah start reading Bureau of Ethnology reports for fun? That doesn't sound like her. This is great work, Vincent. Very, very good stuff.
Thank you.
So, listen, I brought up some visuals real quick. An audience member there told us to check out the Marshall site, and I pulled up some visuals here just to give us another tie-in to the the Rockford Tablet, I believe is where we were. Let me share. Academia, yeah, okay. So let me control plus this shit. There we go. Wait a minute, too much. All right. So here we have a sketching of these petroglyphs on rock that, again, are just sort of reminiscent of that multi-lined form of communication we saw. There's even a cross there as well. And this is in Illinois as well. I haven't pulled up the map yet to see where it correlates with the Rockford site, but you're in the same geographic region for sure. So yeah, thank you for the suggestion, and I would say for sure that we've got something similar going on that we see a little more diligently and orderly put down in those tablets that Vincent was sharing with us. Cool. Okay.
And in southern Illinois, they have the Turkey track petroglyphs on several rock faces as well.
Right.
Chain of rocks, and so yeah, I have some more videos if you want. I can share those.
Sure. I've got one I was going to show, but our audience member Rue, he accused me of putting out senior citizen porn with my video today. Yeah, that was very nice, Vincent. Thank you very much. And by the way, I am the narrator for the Institute, so I'd be happy to throw some narration on those videos for you any time. Because right now the audience doesn't have a narrator in that audio, right? It's just you read it for us live here, yeah?
Right.
There you go. We'll get together. We'll get it going. No, I've got video of really what I kind of want to show is just some rocks I found. But, if you've got more of your work, which is what we're mainly here to promote, I've got my own show to show rocks on. Feel free, sir. Yeah, thanks, Rue. I don't turn 47 until next month, dude, okay? So I'm not really sure how to take the whole senior porn thing. It's like half compliment, half insult, and I'll get back to you when I figure out which way I'm gonna lean.
Just a child.
Senior porn.
I don't see that. He's jumped so much I can't see it.
All right, I'll go one more, and then we can go into the next. So this is the mystery of the Garden Creek and the Stone Bears.
Great.
And one thing I wanted to show on this map is, well, this map is from 1860, and it shows the Appalachian Mountains, but it almost looks like a bear. The mountains form the outline of a bear. I mean, it's kind of remarkable that, like, here's the bear's face over here, and the bear's leg coming down. It's like the bear sitting on its side. And all these mounds are built like all over the central portion where the heart would be, and where the bear's heart would be. So that's maybe coincidence, but it's also really, I think it's interesting. And the fact that they could make this map in 1860 and include that level of details is amazing. So this is the story of the bears on Mount Pishka relics. So long ago, in the mountains of North Carolina, near Mount Pishka, Garden Creek meant the Pigeon River. The valley looked peaceful. The trees, the soft hills, flowing water, birds, and stone under the earth. But hidden beneath the ground was a story, not a simple story, a mystery story. And like every good mystery, it had clues. Some clues were mounds of earth. Some were shells and beads. And some were pieces of copper.
Is that made of copper?
No, that wasn't. Some were little carved animals, bowls, pipes, and string figures, but they did have copper on site. Some were most interesting clues like this, the bears. They had stone bears. Little bears, sitting bears. These bears were all engraved. Standing bears, covered in cross-hatching. And bears climbing trees. They had bears with lines carved on their backs, almost like fur. Bears that looked as if they were waiting for someone to understand them. So for a long time, people wondered, what were these objects? Who made them? Why were they here? Some thought Garden Creek was just an old village. But others wondered if it could have been something more, a place where Native families remembered their ancestors. Maybe a sacred place, a place where stories, ceremonies, and memories were kept safe. People did not write everything in books. Sometimes memories were kept in songs, in places, and in special objects. A shell could mean something, a bead could mean something. A carved animal could mean something. A mound could mean remember. Garden Creek had many signs: mounds, burials, shell beans, copper, earth lodges, and marks of old fires. Could it have been part of a larger sacred world, connected with a powerful place called Kofuta-Cheke? And could it have been connected to the shrine called El Ku? The question is not answered yet. A good scientist does not say, I know, before the proof is strong enough. The good scientist said, this is a serious clue. Let us test it carefully.
Look at our rig.
One clue came from the year 1883.
So that's where Rick was. He was off carefully handling artifacts, dressed up as a nurse. I always knew he was weird, you know? I mean, you can just tell, but I didn't know it was a nurse.
He was undercover. Undercover. When in Rome.
Okay, I'll leave him alone. Stay undercover. No, that's funny.
So newspapers reported that mounds near Mount Pishka had been opened, holding old stone tools, burials, and human remains. But another problem soon appeared. Some said certain objects from Mount Pishka were fakes. One letter said people who once called the area a country of frauds now seem to find the place a very good place. Some objects may have been real, some may have been copies, some may have been mixed together over time. The honest answer is we must study every object once by one, or each object one by one.
He certainly is. Look at him, very concentrated.
Every object needs its own number, its own photograph, its own label, and its own history. Its own careful test. That is how truth is found, not by shouting or not by guessing. Some objects went into museums, some were recorded by the Smithsonian, and some were photographed many years later. One Smithsonian object was a red-brown bear, like carving from Haywood County, covered in carved lines. It became one of the important bear clues in the story.
Yeah, but that bear with those long legs and short snout looks very much like a cave bear.
The other bear carvings looked alike, so researchers wanted to compare them. Were they from the same visual family, the same style, the same carving marks? good questions, but when two objects look alike, it does not prove their age. A picture can help, a label can help, a museum record can help, but science still has to test the material. What kind of stone or clay is it? Are the carved lines new or old? Is there weathering on the surface? Are there repairs, glue, or modern marks? Was it heated? Was it painted or stained? Like you can see, this one's covered in red ochre. These questions matter because every object has its own story.
What is this one? Is it a human or an animal?
Some stories go back far in time, some are newer, some are repaired, some were copied. Some still are waiting for the right test, and that is okay. The mystery does not become less amazing because it is careful, it becomes more amazing. The truth is worth protecting. The Garden Creek story also teaches respect. These were not just things. They may be connected to Native people, families, ancestors, ceremonies, and memories. So they should not be treated just like treasure. They should be treated with care and like voices saying, remember us carefully. Imagine walking through the valley. As the sun goes down, the creek moves softly, the mountains turn blue. Blue Ridge Mountains. Bird calls from the trees under the ground. This old story sleep. The mound is not just a pile of dirt. It can be a memory hill. A shell is not just a shell. It can be a sign of travel, beauty, trade, or ceremony. A bear is not just a bear. It can be strength. It can be family. It can be a guardian. And it can be a question carved in stone. And one day, a little girl hears the story and asks, so what is the answer? And the answer is, we are still learning that is one of the bravest answers that a person can give. Garden Creek may have been a sacred place, an ancestor place, part of a much larger native world. But the final truth must come slowly, object by object, clue by clue, and test by test. And maybe that is the real treasure, not gold, not fame, not winning an argument. The real treasure is learning how to listen to the past with respect. So when you hear about Garden Creek, remember the stone bears, the mounds, the shells, and the copper, and old letters, and the big questions. History is not always a straight road. Sometimes it's a hidden path. You follow one clue, then another, and another. And then, if you are patient, careful, and kind, the past may begin to speak softly like water in Garden Creek, like wind in the trees. Like the stone bear waiting in silence, and the story is not over yet.
Amazing
Beautiful,
work,
dude.
Vince. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very beautiful.
History and poetry, hand in hand.
History and poetry with Vincent.
Thank you.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah, listen, Mound Lord, 47 the next month is not almost 50. Thank you. That's 3 long years. And I'm living proof of what can happen in 3 years. And, yeah. Well, when I was 40, I said I was 40 going on 15. So what does that make? 50? 25? Yeah, man. You know? Yeah. It's all about what's going on inside is all that matters. And, you know, we're living testaments to that. Vincent, that was perfect. I had a question. I don't know if Mound Lord is still around with his jokes, but I have a question for you and he, because Vince, Ricardo and I, we've been reading the DeSoto Chronicles. And what was it? 2 episodes back, dude, where we read the section where they tried to describe how the natives built their town. So it's kind of like one of the earliest written descriptions of mound building, right? And what was it that was bugging us, Ricardo? So the fence, right, or the what was the word? Not the barricade.
Oh, the palisade.
Palisade stockade.
Okay. So they described, and it seemed to me they were probably down in South Georgia or still somewhere in the Panhandle at this point. But they described the mounds, right, and the uses of the mounds, and that all seemed perfectly it lined up with everything we seemed to already know. But then they described a palisade that went around the bottom of the mound. So I've got my mound, and then I got a palisade around the bottom, and they said there was a stairway, made up the middle that was so wide and broad that the horses could, navigate it without like damaging it, right? And then Vince, so you with me? You got a mound, you got a wall, a palisade around it, and then when I get to my stairway going up, the palisade comes in and goes up so that the wall, it's walled all the way up. And then that was right, Ricardo. And then they had a wall up around the top.
Yeah,
okay. That was all very new to me, and I'm curious if we have is there any actual archaeological evidence of that having been a way they fortified?
Yeah,
Vincent
well,
or anybody in the chat.
So Vince,
can
my
help us out
question,
with that question.
my question is this: Jason is calling it a mound. It's more like a pyramid where they build the houses on the top. So the flat top with houses built on top of it, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, they are describing the palisade instead of being done around the edges of the flat top. The palisade is around the edges of the base.
The base, yeah.
Which to me makes little to no sense, because how can you use it for defense? You can't be on the inclined plane and defending.
Well, first of all,
the
it's
mound.
not the only. There would still be walls on the outside of the towns, generally, right?
Well, I
They
can tell
didn't
you.
spoke about it.
But see, to me, maybe I know I'm retarded. It's not maybe am I retarded. I know I'm retarded. Okay, but I've been on top of a mound, right? And if I picture a wall at the bottom, I mean that kind of makes sense, right? Because from the top, I can pick everybody off. But I just had never seen that in any artistic, renderings of mound life, right? And so I didn't know if there was any evidence to back that up, because the particular chronicler we're reading he's very over explanatory in many of the narrative features around the story, and we're wondering how much of that may or may not transfer to some of the descriptions of what he saw in the towns. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you at Cahokia Mountains, they had palisade walls that were found surrounding the main plaza. And some estimates are those were 5 miles long each, encircled with 4 separate palisades, built one outside of the other. So 4 walls surrounding the 5-mile long fence, basically surrounding the whole central plaza.
Right.
And these were supposedly made with bastions or guard towers about equally spaced around the palisade walls, so that they could have guards positioned in an elevated position to defend the city. And
So their system was the same as medieval Europe?
similar, I guess. I don't know if it's anything that compares to that with 4 walls in medieval Europe.
because
But
Before they, no, I mean not the 4 walls, I mean the towers.
Sorry,
okay,
chat.
palisade or
Chat.
bastion.
So
Yeah, and
Ruben
well,
had a question that was busting me up. Sorry, Vincent. Continue. That wasn't you.
okay, that's all right. So, well, the palisade walls at Cahokia, the thought is they were made of logs, and at least 4 feet down in the ground, they found these post pits where the logs were embedded in the earth, and so
That checks with the Chronicles. They said the same thing. 4 feet buried.
Yeah.
The
plane
wood
them
was
off
buried
and-
3-4
yep,
feet.
so that the horses could traverse it, right?
So I wanted to share this example. This
I
is
mean, not so that the horses could traverse it, but it was so strong that the Spanish horses could traverse it. It was, and they didn't have horses, so that made the feat all the more sort of impressive that they accounted for.
Yeah,
that
this is that
much
strange palisade
usage,
that,
you know what I mean?
that is on,
So, yeah. Take a look at this. Yeah, this is
as a
an actual
triangle. Yeah.
a map of a palisade from a place called Hochelaga. We're talking about, I think it's Ontario, Canada, New France. So each of these, this map was originally written in French, and I used AI to translate it to English, but it translates with each of these letters representing a portion of the city, and each of these in the middle, F, D, C, well, that says this is the plaza in the middle, and then D is the house of the chief. So these are houses, like the chief's house right here, D, and then I is a space between the houses and the town enclosure where one can walk around. And then F is one of the streets in the town. So these are like cities, the houses and the streets in town, surrounded by an enclosure. K represents the framework that holds the planks together around the town's enclosure, made in the place of walls. So it's got an enclosure, and then these are palisaded walls surrounding the village. But it shows T here. These are ladders going up to the top of these palisaded walls with the platform. And it says P is a parapet where men can stand for defense. So
Sure, that's normal. Yeah.
they have a walkway around these that people could defend the town. And it's amazing that, I mean, this still exists, but I guess that's how the village was set up, and the town of Hochelaga. Well, I tried to translate the one that says D, the house of Chief Argulahada. So this word means chief, so it's the house of the chief, and right in the center. Well, this is similar to the square grounds of the Creek, Yuchi, Cherokee, and the Busk ceremony used the same type of layout with square grounds. And now that still exists in Oklahoma that followed, after the Trail of Tears, where these tribes used the same layout of the square grounds in their villages. So it's not something that has gone away. It's still, still a living representation of how their villages were set up.
Cool.
So Rue has a question. It says,
Here's our. Go ahead. Handle the question.
with the recent, let me put it on the screen, the recent bust in Tampa of the artifact theft, how much of that can be authenticated given that what Vince has just read? I have no idea.
I wasn't familiar with the artifact theft in Tampa either.
And he also asked, when is taking artifacts not a theft? Never.
Yeah, that's what had me laughing. That's
Never.
and the Smithsonian is a crime scene. That was a pretty good one by Ancient Spirits there. Therefore, it is to be noted that the Indians of La Florida always endeavor to live on a high point, at least in the case of the houses of the chiefs and the lords, when the whole town cannot do so. And because the whole country is very flat, and an elevated site is seldom found that has other conveniences useful and necessary for a settlement, they make it by their own labor. Amassing a very large quantity of earth, they pack it down by treading on it, raising it up in the form of a hill, 2 or 3 pike lengths in height. On top, they make a level space large enough for 10, 12, 15, or 20 houses for the dwellings of the Lord and his family and the people in his service, in accordance with his ability and the grandeur of his state. On the plain, at the foot of the hill, natural or artificial, they make a square plaza, there we go, square's back, corresponding to the size of the town that is to be settled, surrounding which the nobles and chief men build their houses. Then the rest of the common people build theirs, endeavoring not to be too far from the hill where the Lord's house is. They try rather to surround it, his, with their own. In order to go up to the chief's house, they make streets straight up the hill, 2, 3, or more as needed, 15 or 20 feet wide. I mean, why so wide? For walls of these streets, they drive thick black logs into the ground. There we go. That confirms, one after the other, which are sunk into the earth more than an estado deep. That'd be a man. For stairways, they place other logs, no less thick, at right angles to those that form the walls, and they join them together. These logs that form the stairs are planed on all four sides so that the ascent will be smoother. The risers are 4, 6, or 8 feet from one another, according to the incline and the steepness of the hill and its height. The horses could ascend and descend them easily because they were broad. All the rest of the hill, besides the stairs, they cut off in the form of a wall, so that it is not possible to ascend. So see, that's what they're thinking. Nobody can climb it that way. And in this way, the Lord's house is better fortified. In this form and plan, Osachile had his town and house made. So yeah, that's, I mean, again, we even see the square. Yeah, this is noted because they say here, this remarkable passage describing general Mississippian mound construction and the ideal village layout is not duplicated in other DeSoto narratives. It is the earliest on record.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, right?
That is very cool.
And if you want more of that, join Ricardo and I as we continue tomorrow or Monday. Maybe we said tomorrow after the UU news, right?
Yeah, after.
So
the
what we're going to do
news.
before Mars panel, after the UU news, before the Mars panel. In the middle, tomorrow, we're going to get together and read some more DeSoto Chronicles. And Vincent, listen, anytime you want to swing along and join us for reading these and like commenting and pulling up pictures and shit, you would be more than welcome, boss.
Thank you. Yes, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. We're learning a lot, you know, and it gets, as you can see from just that little bit, it gets tedious to read because the guy's wording was, man, he goes on and on. But having, you know, somebody else there that can comment along with us and learn along with us would be great, dude.
Yeah.
We're on page 822 of 1,208, so we still have plenty to learn. We haven't even gotten close to South Carolina, let alone Mobilla yet.
And we only killed like 1,000 or 2,000
it's only
natives.
been wholesale slaughter of just a few thousand so far. We've only had 3 instances of which they slaughtered everybody and left a river of blood in their wake. That's only happened thrice so far.
But that's because the natives were stubborn to attack.
Only
They were so
3
kind.
people, I think it's 3 also, that have been torn apart by dogs so far intentionally.
What knows?
Maybe 4 of
next?
those actually. Maybe 4 of those, I think. Yeah, it's been just a lovely time with the Christians and the natives.
Well, take a look at this. This is pictures from the Smithsonian this week. When I hired a researcher to go and find these records about the Mount Pishka site. So he sent these photos from what he had been able to locate, which were all the receipts, the receipts from Cyrus Thomas and John Emmert and McChesney. He went through the collections of the Smithsonian, and so these are some photos that he sent from his research. And these go back to actually 1860 and all the way up to about 1884, 1883 here. But these are the vouchers and the financial records from the time of Cyrus Thomas and James Emmert, or John Emmert, when they were going around and doing the mountain excavations. And it just shows you what they look like now. They're just in these boxes, and he said this took him over nearly 2 days to locate these files. They were so misplaced that he couldn't find them right away. And the vouchers from the Smithsonian dealing with the Mount Pishka relics were located, and so these are actually signed by Baird, who was the secretary of the Smithsonian, directly reporting as Secretary of the Treasury. Baird wrote this, and he had John McChesney, who was the dispersing agent for North American ethnology in 1883. And See, they were dealing with large dollars even back then, over $20,000 that they had spent every year on the Bureau of Ethnology. And so $20,000 in 1883 is a lot of money.
A lot of money.
And it talks about the actual monthly earnings of Emmert and Cyrus Thomas. And Emmert was making $75 a month. Here he gets that $30 for the artifacts from Mount Pishka. He labeled them ethnologic specimens for $30, April 19th, 1883. And cash paid for ethnologic specimens to J.M. Burnett. See, that was the J.M. Burnett I was talking about before. On April 24th, he got that. And then the next one, I'll show you the one where it says S.M. Burnett. So it's really interesting how this is his salary for April. John Emmert got $75 for the month of April. And then
That was a lot of money, no?
and see, yeah, it was a lot of money. And look, he was stationed in Bristol, Tennessee. So it's really interesting how he went from Bristol, Tennessee to Mount Pishka.
How much was a 4T? $30 or something like that?
The artifacts, yeah, he spent $30 on them in April, and then $22 in May. And so these are some of the other receipts here. His title's ethnologic assistant, and so he got paid $75 for that month. And the $30 was, I guess, a reimbursement after he had purchased the relics. And then, so salary for May was again $75. And then getting up to the soapstone specimens. Okay, he spent $22 for soapstone specimens. And he got this in June, paid for him on June 5th. So I think he was getting reimbursed for his May purchase for the $22 in soapstone specimens. So they had changed the story from ethnologic specimens to soapstone specimens. And here's the S. So he wrote S.M. Burnett instead of J. That's S, and 15 soapstone specimens in Asheville, North Carolina. So somehow he went from Bristol, Tennessee, back to Asheville in May 21st. And then this is somewhat different. It looks like an N, but it's kind of a strange M, Burnett. And then so over here, this is actually the second copy where it says S.M. Burnett. It's S, and this is written in Cyrus Thomas' hand. So see, Cyrus Thomas signed it here, and he actually wrote S.M. Burnett. So that's the difference. It changed from J.M. Burnett to S.M. Burnett in the month of May. And it wasn't just a clerical hand. This is Cyrus Thomas' hand. So he's the major ethnological assistant. And reimbursing John Emmert on the 5th of June for purchases that he made back in May, on May 21, under the name of S.M. Burnett. So it's just really interesting how that initial changed from J.M. Burnett to S.M. Burnett. And then Spencer Baird certified it as authentic, or certified as a true price paid that was just and reasonable. So he was secretary of the Smithsonian Institute. And John McChesney had these receipts. Then this is the second list here of all the different images that he purchased. Pipes, the bears, images, pipes, birds, bears. And that was the 2850 from April. And so this was signed J.M. Burnett.
But Vince, are they buying them because they think they are authentic, or why are they buying them?
Well, at the time they bought them and they wrote ethnologic specimens, so that would make me think that they must have thought they were authentic, writing ethnologic specimens. And they didn't say they were buying forgeries or fakes or hoaxes. They said they were ethnologic specimens.
sense. Why buy forgeries or fakes? Just
Right. So their whole story changed. See right here, ethnologic specimens. He wrote he's buying ethnologic specimens for $30. So, I mean, that's clear that he's describing these that he spent $30 on as ethnologic specimens. And then it wasn't until 1894 that it changed to bogus. They changed the story from ethnologic specimens to bogus artifacts. So it was like, wow, they totally changed their story.
Ricardo, check your Discord. I heard it.
And check this out, the auditor signatures here are just really interesting to see the calligraphy they used. So anyway, it gives you an idea of the time and what we're dealing with here.
Beautiful, sir.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So I've got two things I'm going to pull up real quick, and we need to do a little house cleaning first. And to do it both, I'm going to pull up X. Thank you, Vincent. Listen, everybody, we're so excited to have Vincent's new YouTube channel, for him up and running. Please go, if you've liked what you've heard so far, go find his channel on YouTube. We've dropped the link, and check him out. What I want to share quickly, Vincent, you don't have to take your work anywhere, bro. We can keep going with what you've got. I'm just kind of jumping in for a second to switch it up. But we've still got 40 minutes here, and I'm not going to take near all of it, man. But what I want to pop up is, first of all, we had in the audience tonight, we had some support from Buddy Moundlore. And he sent over this post, again, just highlighting what he saw as some correlations, Vince, to some of your work here in these drawings. If you guys are on X and you do not follow Moundlore, go check him out and check all of his posts. And thank you very much for hanging out with us, dude, and for your support there. The second thing I'm going to share with everybody, why did I close X? I can't talk and do Windows. We need a producer. How many times this week have I put out there? We have so many brands now, and we all kind of suck at being ourselves and doing all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to share X one last time. And there's our plug for our buddy Moundlore. Get out of my chats. Am I sharing those? My bad, y'all. And let's go to my homepage. So what I was going to show, and I'm going to skip the senior porn part, thanks to my buddy Rubate there. But I want to show some rocks because we keep talking about all these things being forgeries. And here on my page, you'll see me shirtless because it's fucking hot right
more
now.
precisely, we're at the confluence of Mortar and
I want to show you some rocks, Creek. Vincent.
There.
That's not a rock. That's a bridge.
It is.
In dirt and mud.
Sticks and bricks, man.
One off there,
You
one
gotta-
off there.
Sticks and bricks.
Sticks and bricks.
The family is spread all about Tuscaloosa and Coosa's territory today. Bella is over at my usual spot on the Coosa and Corn Creek, and she's my oldest. And they're
Water was
too
way
old
up
for
today,
Dad
too.
just to be bouncing around with the dog, looking at rocks.
Fast
So
forward.
we came halfway
Oh no, I paused it. I'm trying to fast
between here today. And when I first started
Check this
coming
out,
to
Vince.
these creeks, one of the things that you're first confronted with is
Likewise.
this
my
question of intentionality in most of the rocks. So one that jumps out, find a lot of these, got a lot at the house.
Now, Vincent, what intrigues me about this piece, I even brought this one home, and I don't bring a lot home. I don't know if you can see. Am I, man, too many windows. You can't see me. So I brought this piece home, right? Now, this is like sandstone, right? But see, right now, when I'm holding it, you see this little bit right here? Okay, I can see through it, right, on top. Like, I can literally see through it. So it's like they sawed the stone right here. Can you see my marker at Jacob's head? This piece, it goes all the way through. Like right here, you can see clean through this thing, right? So it's obviously somebody sawed it, through it in some fashion, or because I find lots of them, right? There, you caught a glimpse of how you could see through it. There. You get my point. The sandstone goes on and on for days. Quartz or quartzite. All right. I don't want to take up time if you're ready to go, Vincent, because again, it's not about promoting me. Again, thanks to Mound Lore. Y'all go find him on X. If you like this type stuff and what I'm about to ask Vincent about, then you can go find me on X. All right, stop sharing and come back to you guys. Okay. So I find a lot of these, Vincent, where it's like the sandstone stuff where I can see clean through it. Like I'm looking at you through it, right? Through this. That to me is an extreme mystery, right? Like I know they could work stone, but what are they doing that they can get in up under it and clean it out all the way through to an equal plane on either side? And why? It's not near as sophisticated as many of the things we've seen them do in stone, right? But why am I finding tons of these? Granted, they've been in a creek that, gosh, the water, who knows how long it's smoothed over what it could have been, or things like that, right? But there's a lot of these, and I don't know what they are. And so I wanted to show them and see if you had ever seen anything similar, Vincent.
Well, it reminds me of an Alatal hook. Like, I'm not sure if you heard of this Alatal spear thrower, but they often have a hook at the end of it that it has a similar shape, like with that ridge being used to hold the spear on Alatal.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, it's like a string almost could like go through it. Yeah, I see what
you're
saying.
Or a string even, like to hold a bowstring back.
Yeah.
But that would be made of wood, right?
Right, you would think.
Well,
but it's almost it's like you want to imagine in your head like a razor saw string that somehow sawed all the way through, because you can see the line, right? Like it's all the way through at the same part on the rock. I don't know, Rue, if it is a natural fissure. Why do I find so many of them shaped down to this, right? That's that's the other question. You can't, because the same stone you find like this, right? Now, again, is this a natural fissure, right, that they accentuated and worked down to this point? Because, see, that fissure follows not as far on this side. But, again, it's smooth, weighted, and balanced. And this is more quartz than sandstone, so you couldn't manipulate it the same way, right? But again, if they're natural fissures, it's a practiced natural fissure that somebody liked and found and shaped, right? That would be the thing. When I've got buckets of them. I just picked a few in this one today, and a few behind me. So, what, Ricardo? You laughing at my buckets? I got a lot of buckets.
Well, take a look at this. This is the thing I wanted to show as well that kind of links into the Mount Pishka relics. And this is a bust of Apatla Yohola of Tukmachi. Well, he was the speaker of the Who Kept the Fire, a Muskogee commemorative bust. And so this is
Ricardo, producer. Yeah. Listen, on my end, I'm big. Is that the way it looks on YouTube? I think
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, you're. There we go. Well, one more.
Share.
One more. Do it again, boss. Boom.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, thank you. So this is the picture here of the bust, and it's made of sandstone. This thing weighs about 50 pounds. It's about 2 feet tall and 18 inches across, and it's sandstone. And it was folk memorial understood to come from the chief of the Muskogee back in 1985. And so this artifact represents Apathayohola. The Muskogee provenance is really well defined at this point. And Apathayohola was the guy who led the Creek during the Civil War. And he was alive through the time of the Trail of Tears all the way through the end of the Civil War. And so he played a big part in preserving the culture and carrying the fire from from the area around Georgia.
Water has memory, no doubt.
Yeah, the memory would be amazing. I mean, that he participated in this whole cultural removal from the time of the Trail of Tears all the way through the Civil War. And he was a speaker for neutrality. He really fought for staying neutral throughout these wars just to preserve his culture. So he would take his whole tribe and purposely stay out of wars, stay out of battles. He went all the way to Oklahoma in order to avoid the wars. And he kept his tribe safe by doing that and survived. And they kept the culture going. I mean, in 1931, Swanton documented they still have the square grounds. They still have this Tala, and this is continuity that survived because of people like Apathayohola, and he was really essential to keeping the custody and the chain of their culture going. And so this sculpture really represents a cultural continuity from the North Carolina area, and Georgia, and all the way through Kentucky, Tennessee, to Oklahoma. And the fact that they still preserve this culture as a major ceremonial group today is really due to people like Apathayohola.
Why was federal policy criminalizing the corn festival?
Yeah, it's incredible, but they criminalized it. They made it punishable by a sentence of no less than 10 days with no cap on it. So until they could say they're in prison for life if they would practice their ceremony or religious.
So why would we worry about a government that outlawed practicing ceremonies? Why would we then worry about them telling the truth about that culture?
Yeah, because they couldn't tell the truth or they'd be thrown in jail.
I mean, A plus fucking B equals C, right?
Yeah. I mean, literally, I've been researching this, and there were over 1,400 people that were convicted under the Code of Indian Offenses about practicing their culture. The natives were imprisoned, and
No, that was the Gestapo.
I was about to say, yeah, because Hitler was well known for promoting Jewish culture. Exactly. That was we got to erase them. We got to kill them. Listen, but we can be trusted with all of their stuff that their ancestors left. I swear. Like, really, man? I'm supposed to believe this?
yeah, and I mean, they were criminalized, extracted, carried west, and that they survived. And I mean, they're still surviving today. So it's really an incredible part of this country's history that is not often discussed in schools. And
That was purposefully suppressed.
yes.
And we don't talk
that's
about the
why-
suppression or the mass murder of the native population.
That's why
We don't
they
call it
created-
murder because we drugged them across the country on foot while we were on our horses without shoes or food or any sort of protection through the winter months. So we don't call it murder, but we murdered them.
Right. I mean, the story is Apathayohola got out to Oklahoma, and during the Trail of Blood on Ice, it was one of the battles that he fought. His daughter died, and it was, where later on he was buried there next to his daughter.
Been
When he-
mass
when he passed
wholesale
away.
slaughter of these people since fucking DeSoto landed, man.
Yes.
That's the reason why we have powwows, because powwows were accepted because they were disguised as something else. So,
Right.
And native people has this thing of they don't go back. So since they moved to powwows, they are not moving back to whatever was before, because powwows is what they're doing now.
Right.
So
Yeah, but look at this, the cultural time frame. Well, the Code of Indian Offenses was published or turned into law by Hiram Price in 1883. Okay, and then 1934, they did John Collier's did a circular number 2970, which kind of relieved the pressure and said there should be no interference with Indian religious life. So that was literally that long
So
until
in 34, he said we can quit burning, destroying, and hiding their shit. Okay.
yeah, and then but it didn't officially get repealed until 1978.
A very short time later. Very, very short time later. And there's been so much work done since 78. And
when they're quick, man. You gotta give them credit.
I mean, you know, we have fun and all, but it does hit to the heart of what we're up against. We're up against the narrative that the people in charge know the story and know what's best, right? And now here we are examining that those very people in charge were engaged in a mass wholesale slaughter and erasure of the culture of the very same people we are expected to believe are telling us the truth about those people. Is it just me?
Yeah, that's
And
true.
then they gave the chance to the native to buy the land. Some natives bought the land, but obviously they don't know what is taxes because they're buying what was theirs already before.
Right. You can buy the land back, and we'll take your children and we'll put them in a school and we'll make them use our language, and you can have alcohol as a door prize for tending this land for us.
Yeah,
And fast forward 100 years and you can have a casino. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good for all the wholesale slaughter? You got a casino.
The thing is, because they didn't pay the taxes, like 10, 15 years later, they come back and took the land from them again because they didn't pay the taxes.
It's true.
You see all of this in the story that Fred and Jermaine Pigeon tell on the video. You see all of this: the persecution, the putting the people onto boarding schools, the destruction of the culture.
Well, Ricardo, as we're winding down here, when Vince finished, why don't you show us you want me to pull up a piece of that, the pigeon story?
Well, if I could just share this one thing about 700.
Sure, go ahead, Vince.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 789 days, I think, is an important part in this whole story because from the time that Swanton wrote his book about the square grounds until the end of the circular 2970 enforcement end date was 789 days. So from his publication to the time that this ended was 789 days. So then looking back to the time when the code was set in law, this was on March 30th, 1883. 789 days before that was January 1881, and that's when Valentine found these Mount Pishka relics and took them out of the mound and put them in a rail car and brought them to his museum. So the exact duration was 789 days. And then, well, if you compare it to Opatla Yahola, Opatla Yahola died 789 days before that was the Neutral Kentucky abolitionist movement. So when they were dealing with slaves and abolition, from the time Neutral Kentucky happened until Opatla Yahola's death was 789 days. So there's three possible coincidences, but these are 789 days in between important events dealing with the removal of culture and then the tribal renewal of the culture. And so whether it's by design or just coincidence, it's an interesting thing. 789 actually means renewal and rebirth. And it's the number for the angel's number. It's a kind of a sacred number. The 789 is often associated with the angel's number or for a meaning dealing with renewal or rebirth. So it's kind of powerful there that those things were related to this renewal
Vince,
of culture.
Vince, how long have you been referencing numbers as like you mentioned angel numbers? How long have you been doing that?
I found this out this week, literally. So I mean,
Okay.
it's like I just think that's interesting that how this actually relates. The
Bro, I've made some major fucking discovery decisions and whatnot off of those numbers associated around some of this native stuff. So
There's
it's
a lot of people liking numerology.
you
around here.
strike it's I don't go deep with it, but in the moment, as a momentary
I
guide.
don't go deep with it. I post pictures of 333 miles to go run out
That's
of
for
fuel.
Sarah. That's not for your
I know.
snide ass. Sarah had just sent me a 444, and then there was a 333, and that means your mood, bro. It's just
It's
But take a look
if
at
you don't see
criticizing.
it, it must be a pretty dull life. I don't know how you make decisions. You must be like a normal person that walks around and thinks they know best. I don't know. Maybe you're one of those. But that was cool, Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
But see, it's a pointer. It is interesting. To Vincent's point, it is interesting that this number that he had already found tying to this question about natives, and here he is fighting, trying to get the story about what was true out, and he goes and looks up this number, and it says it's about rebirth and renewal. Wait a minute, I'm engaged in trying to get a rebirth and renewal of native history out there. Whoa, this must be a verification. You see, it works, man.
That's right.
Make fun of me. Go ahead, Vincent. I love it.
Yeah, so the Apotheohola pipe, this is what the sculpture looks like, and there's pipe that came with it. Here's the actual pipe, and so these things, this may be Apotheohola's pipe itself. I mean, it has a lightning strike, and so lightning clan, these two dots, and the spear with the black spear, it has these circles with black, yellow, and red dots, and it's these things were all together with the signed chief's portrait. This is the portrait that was signed Chuck Wilson, principal chief of the Muskogee, 1985, in handwriting. He wrote 9/20/1985 in the lower right. So he gave these to Cindy Amato, and then Cindy Amato gave them to her daughter, and I acquired them from her daughter. And so it's just a amazing thing that was part of history, and that is strongly relates to the continuity of their culture.
Ancient Spirit Beckons says, "One ring to rule them all. That is what land was, my precious." Indeed, it was. Westward expansion. What was it? Manifests destiny. What kind of destiny are you going to manifest on top of millions of dead humans? I mean, really. Like, what type of destiny are you going to manifest on top of millions of dead humans? I don't know. Let's take a look around. Shit's kind of falling apart. There you go, Hoss. There you go. That's exactly what you manifest. Well, the Earth's erupting. I wonder if the Earth's erupting because it's mad about what you did to the people that owned and lived with the Earth the way you're supposed to. It could be a coincidence. It could be a rebirth and renewal of these people that we're engaged in here. Vincent, thank you, as always, for leading the way.
We have to congratulate them for their resilience, because invaded, then epidemics, and then they say, well, this guy doesn't die. Let's kill all their food. So they start killing all the buffalo at once.
Yeah.
To take them. Can you imagine the despair of action? How much despair is in the action of actually killing millions of buffalo so that the Indians didn't have their source of food.
You take their food and you take their kids. They killed their kids. They'd send them off to boarding schools, and there's bodies found. But the kids were certainly not cared for at all. They were ripped from the family. The culture was ripped out by the roots, and as you say, the food, everything, completely everything. They wanted a total squash of any natural ownership of this land which they wished to claim. And
Yeah,
that's patently fucking obvious.
It's really horrible and horrific that they did this. I mean, they literally piled up the skulls of all the buffalo, millions of buffalo skulls, just piled in heaps.
Yeah, you'd shoot them from trains. It was like sport. You just, you
Yeah.
know, there was a known sport to hang out on the back of the train and shoot the buffalo. Yeah.
No, they were paid for it
Yeah,
by the head.
and they just piled them up, and it's horrific. They did this on purpose, intentionally, so that the Indians couldn't have them.
No, the earth wouldn't be mad at you. No way. That's totally acceptable behavior right there.
You know, the island of the mammoths, it's pretty much like that, but it's supposed to be natural.
Well, in a sense, it was.
No, I mean, yeah, it's in Siberia. Where they found the frozen mammoth, the baby with the fresh food still on the stomach.
Yeah.
And then they found a little bit forward. There's a mountains of mammoth bones, right? But I don't believe they were made by humans. It's just where the waters funneled.
Right.
It grabbed
right.
everything because it's mammoths, it's
Cataclysm.
mylodons, it's giant sloths. It's all mixed in there. Bones
Kind of
and
like the
bones
boneyard
and
in
bones.
Alaska, yeah?
Yeah, bones and bones
Yeah.
and bones. But in here, it's just to try and eliminate a food source.
Yeah, here it's just a prick with a pistol, you know, times millions.
Yeah, but it's
Such a cheery subject, gentlemen.
it is. It is.
Such
Well,
Merry
a,
Christmas.
yeah, happy 250th, America. You're literally built upon the bones and blood of millions. Congratulations.
Yeah, but at
And
least
one thing
everybody's guilty. They came
one thing
from
that I
everywhere.
learned
Vincent,
about.
you ever heard the Dave Matthews Band song "Don't Drink the Water"?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is what this song's talking about, man.
and this whole study about the Mount Pishka relics, and the fact that they wouldn't allow testing on them, wouldn't allow anyone to really look at them, put them away, when they were discovered to be clan symbols. They won't even admit it and won't allow study of it. I mean, it's like
Symbols, nonsense.
they
No,
they won't.
it's the liar's handbook, man, or it's like a criminal's handbook. You always double down on the lie. You can never, ever admit that we did forge and we did hide, even if it was 200 years ago. Because as soon as you verbally admit that, then guess what I get to do? My right is now get to suspect you of that shit all the time in every case.
Yeah.
Right? Which is I'm going to go ahead and do anyway because, you know, I don't depend on them for my actions. So we're going to go ahead and do that anyway, y'all. But it's pretty obvious that there's nothing to trust there.
Yeah, and the fact that they would change ethnologic specimens to bogus pieces. I mean, that's stripping of culture in itself, and it's
Listen,
bad.
Vincent, if you put this shit out to the public, it's going to be harder to genocide them. Do you understand? Okay? You're going to make our genocide just a little more difficult if you put these out. Now, we're going to hide them, okay?
We're trying to kill
Be
these
cool,
bastards
Vince.
since the 1500s.
Like Fonzie.
They're
Be
still
cool,
here.
bitch. It's just homicide and, genocide and hiding it. That's all we're doing here.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things is when this researcher that went to the Smithsonian, he said these were misfiled. The pictures that I took were in a folder, or in a file box marked Wyoming, and the other things in the box dealt with gold or purchasing of land in Wyoming, but this one from North Carolina was somehow wrapped up in a red ribbon in that folder. So it was completely misfiled and just put in there.
Yeah, and how long was it been put there? Do they have records the last time it was asked?
No,
Well,
no.
Wyoming was code name for somebody's slush fund of antiquities. That's what Wyoming was.
Yeah, John Cloud found this, and it's incredible that this has been covered up. I'm probably the first person that's looked at it since it was put there in that folder back in the 1880s.
That's what I was asking. So it has never been accessed since it was stored.
Yes, that's right.
So the guy was already
Misstored.
drunk when he stored it.
Yeah. Oh, was that the one that was suspended for being drunk and then
Yeah,
brought back later? Yeah.
that's right. Emmert, he wrote, there was a paper called Emmert's Rum. So he was alcoholic. He drank rum all the time.
Oh, he was a pirate too. Okay.
But sober enough to fake a shit ton of artifacts that aren't physically possible to have been faked in the amount of time he claims.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And then hide
Desperate,
those.
Smithsonian.
desperate times, desperate measures.
Lord have mercy, y'all.
Yeah. It's incredible.
We've got 10 minutes left. Do we want to segue? I thought we might give, since we're talking about native protection, we might provide Ricardo just a moment to further educate the audience on the pigeons and the film that you had nothing to do with.
Oh, okay. So Fred and Germaine Pigeon,
There you go.
they have been fighting for the best part of 30 years against the destruction of a site that was called Skunk Hill, now is named as Powers Bluff, where there are dance circles. There used to be more. Some of them have been already destroyed because it was more important to have a swing for children instead of having a native dance circle. So they destroyed one of those like that. Then they tried to destroy all the marker trees. And in fact, they put so much pressure on the, I don't know how to call it, the government organizations, the city hall and so on, that they went into other parks and cut the branches of the market trees so that they couldn't be tagged like they were also like native areas that would be protected too. Then they tried to take all of these trees out, and what they did was put the tags for the lumberjacks to come, and the tags were on the opposite side of the tree as seen from the road, so that no one see that the tags were there, right? They diminish the. There are two cemeteries. The one that is near this area, the North Cemetery, they diminished it in like 3 or 4 times. It's now concentrated on a small area. So the bulldozer was doing that, and the bones were coming up. And thanks to their work, their dedication, their constant attention on whatever the plans of the city hall and the government were for this place. This is the biggest dance circle. You see that the way it's lower than the rest of the area? It's because of them stamping it as they dance. So I found that I thought it was made on purpose like that, but no, it's the dancing going around that depresses the soil and creates the effect of the dance circle. And the trees were only planted after the Second World War. They weren't there. So and this place is filled with market trees, about 150 of 90-degree angles. That the chief archaeologist went there. Oh, they just buck. How you call it? Buck something on the trees. I don't know the term in English.
Rutting?
No, buck. It's like a
Like a deer? I don't know.
No, the branch breaks and the tree heals and makes that. It's just natural. It wasn't
Like a callus.
Yeah, it was not done on purpose. And she asked, 204, yes, 150.
Sure.
It's a bit too
Right.
much, right?
Right.
And who maps all of that was James B. Shears. He went there and he mapped all the rocks. He saw the alignments. There are faces on rocks. There are 2 or 3 seats on stone that you sit there. It's like the sitting stone that you see in Lord of the Rings. You find lots of them in sacred places. So they are real. Tolkien wasn't crazy.
There's some of the crew.
Yeah.
Chris. And did I see Rick there with him?
Rick was behind, yes.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, big
Fred,
rocks.
and before was Germain.
That's Mr. Pigeon. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
The one actually out here doing the
Yeah, Mr.
preservation.
Fred Pigeon, yeah. So his father took him to this place, his grandfather, when he was little, and said, "It will be your mission to save this." But he never explained to him nothing. This is one of the maps of Jim Shears of the area. You see the dancing circles?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just like some old dude talking to me, right? I don't know any of what he's talking about. And then it's funny, like we're talking about returning to the belly button. He eventually, another map from James P. Shears. You see the singing Indian head.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So
Yeah, I was just trying to give everybody some looks and some listens from you, and then they can go check out the film on their own. I didn't want to reveal it all. There's Chris acting manly. Is that what he's doing? Big heftiness in the pigeons.
yeah, this is the South Cemetery here, where his grandfather is buried. And I think if you move forward to the end, you can just show the
Hang on, I gotta make my window bigger. You want the QR code?
the QR code. So anybody that can and wants to help, it goes strictly to them. They are seriously ill. And I hope that it will pass to good people. You saw at the beginning that's their niece. She's getting more and more involved. And there is a native organization that will probably, I don't know, but will probably continue their work, I hope. But as long as they are with us, and may it be by many long years, they need support because they've been doing this for 30 years alone.
So everybody at home, to be clear, we have Fred and Jermaine Pigeon. That's who's pictured here. You can go find this film not by Ricardo. He hates it when I say that, but put together by Mr. Ricardo Calvario on his X page, which we just showcased. You can find this film, and donating is going directly into the pockets of these two people to help them continue to subsist and continue the preservation work of the park, which this film lays out for you.
Yeah, that exists only because of them, true heroes.
30 years.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So
Thank you.
Go find Ricardo Calvario, History, Myths, and Legends on X. He does incredible work. Go find Vincent Barrows. That's Vincent Barrows on X, and find his new.
I'm Ricardo Calvary 1. Not History, Myths, and Legends is my private.
Ricardo Calvario 1.
Yeah, History, Myths, and Legends is my private and initial YouTube channel. It still exists.
But that's what it calls you on X. It doesn't matter. Point is, go check out Vincent Barrows, but that's what it says, man, when I look for you.
It does?
history.
Okay.
Yeah.
My tag, I was talking about my tag. My tag is
Can you read that? No, you can't.
Ricardo Calvary 1. No, I can't. All
Yeah,
about
okay,
you is
your
light.
tag
Man.
is-
That's the problem of being an angel. That's lots of light.
It's terrible.
I
man.
don't know
like
how
the
you get
homie-
reception in heaven. I really don't. But
How's that? Now it's a disco. Everybody, thank you, Vincent. Go check out Vincent Barrows' new page. The link is in the chat. Vincent, feel free to drop it one more time so everybody who has enjoyed watching your work can go find your work. Check out our buddy Mound Lore on X. Thanks for the support tonight and for sharing us out, and welcome anybody that found us that way. You can find us every Saturday night here at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time to talk about lost American history and wherever that leads us. Ricardo, tomorrow we are going to meet up and we're going to be reading the DeSoto Chronicles on either the Shaman and Philosopher page, maybe the Institute's page, maybe my page, but we'll advertise on all of our X's. So check out Universe Unveiled tomorrow. Go find them, subscribe. They have their sweet Sunday news, and if you pay attention to the, what do we call it, Ricardo? The skirmishes traded sometimes between independent researchers and the academics who wish to protect the narrative instilled by the government, which killed the people that now want to tell us we can trust them. Yeah, if you're interested in that, then you'll want to see Sweet Sunday News tomorrow around noon Central Standard Time, because they're going to do their tide check and they're going to talk about that subject. What else, dude? We're doing Mars Disclosure live tomorrow at 3:30 Central Standard Time with Dave from Dave's Multiverse. You can find that streaming on all of our channels. Go ahead. What you got?
And between that, we'll do a reading of De Soto on your channel.
Okay.
And I was just telling Vince, the link to your YouTube is the one that I placed. What you were placing there, I don't know what it is.
And for the last plug, we will also be back on Monday, I believe, to continue reading from Ricardo Calvario's own book, Stardust, which I am enjoying very, very much. We've probably got about another 7 or 8 episodes of those, so we're going to be plowing through those in the week
going
ahead.
into Concerning Consciousness. It's the next chapter.
My favorite topic, Vince. I love to talk consciousness because it's just the biggest mystery left that I can find. Okay, so everybody, we're going to be everywhere the rest of the
Smithsonian.
weekend. It is the Smithsonian. Smithsonian is not a mystery. I believe Ancient Spirits named them best. She said it's a crime scene. Yeah, it is. It's exactly what it is. But so is most of Washington, D.C., so we shouldn't be surprised that the Hall of Records for the most corrupt, what do we want to call it, nation state, in history, I'm sure their Hall of Records are probably clean and organized and telling us all the truth, though, definitely. Everybody, if you too are an independent artist, researcher, or activist, what have you, and you believe you have information that is important to the whole, come find us at the Institute of Natural Philosophy. We're working hard to make a home for independent researchers, artists, and just people who like to think for themselves. Find us on Discord, find us on YouTube, find us all over the place the rest of this weekend and next week. We love you guys. See you next time.
Very fond farewell to you all. Thank you.